Senate will come to order. I ask everyone to please rise as we have the presentation of colors. I ask everyone present to please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I ask now that in the absence of clergy that you all bow your heads in a moment of silent reflection. Reading of the journal.
In the Senate, Sunday, January 11th, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The journal of Saturday, January 10th, was read and approved. On motion, Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the journal stands approved as read. Presentation of petitions, messages from the Assembly, messages from the Governor, reports of standing committees, reports of select committees, communications and reports of state officers. Motions and resolutions. Senator Libous.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe there's a privilege resolution at the desk by Senator Laval. At this time, I would like it read in its entirety, and then I would ask you to call on Senator Laval before it's adopted.
The Secretary will read.
Legislative Resolution number 84 by Senator Laval, commending Suffolk Cadet Squadron 10 from the Long Island Group of Civil Air Patrol Color Guard upon the occasion of presenting the colors at the start of the session of the New York State Senate. Whereas, it is the sense of this legislative body to recognize that the quality and character of life in communities across New York State are reflective of the concerned and dedicated efforts of those organizations and individuals who are devoted to the welfare of the community and its citizenry. And whereas, attendant to such concern and in full accord with its long-standing traditions, this legislative body is justly proud to commend the Cadet Squadron from Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard upon the occasion of presenting the colors at the start of the session of the New York State Senate to be held at the New York State Capitol in Albany, New York. And whereas the Civil Air Patrol enjoys a proud legacy of selfless sacrifice and service to the country and community that spans decades. The organization was born 1 week prior to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. And whereas thousands of volunteer members of the Civil Air Patrol answered America's call to national service and sacrifice by accepting and performing critical wartime missions. And whereas, on July 1, 1946, President Harry S. Truman signed Public Law 476, incorporating the Civil Air Patrol as a benevolent nonprofit organization. On May 26, 1948, Congress passed Public Law 557, permanently establishing the Civil Air Patrol as the auxiliary of the New York State's Air Force. And whereas 3 primary mission areas were set forth at the inception of the Civil Air Patrol: aerospace education, cadet programs, and emergency services. And whereas today the Civil Air Patrol handles 90% of inland search and rescue missions, with approximately 75 lives saved each year. Its members are generally the first on the scene, transmitting satellite digit images of the damage within seconds around the world and providing disaster relief and emergency services following natural and man-made disasters, including such phenomena as 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, Texas and Oklahoma wildfires, tornadoes in the South and Central United States, North Dakota flash flooding, and the October 2006 earthquake in Hawaii, as well as humanitarian missions along the United States and Mexican border. And whereas, in response to the devastating effects of Hurricane Sandy, the Civil Air Patrol's New York wing promptly reacted by flying 373 damage assessment sorties and providing 143,360 aerial photographs to New York disaster relief organizations, FEMA, and the Army Corps of Engineers, providing air transportation throughout the affected region for disaster response teams, deploying 30 volunteers to assist with shelter operations conducted by the New York City Office of Emergency Management, and installing 40 volunteers to assist the Red Cross with the logistics of relief supplies. And whereas, in addition, Civil Air Patrol members are dedicated to counter-drug reconnaissance and to teaching a new generation about aerospace and its impact on our future. Its cadet programs ensure our youth receive finest leadership training the nation has to offer. And whereas the members of the Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Guard include Cadet Second Lieutenant Derek Proffitt, Cadet Senior Master Sergeant Allison Shumway, Cadet Staff Sergeant James Megna, Cadet Senior Airman Joseph Toner, Cadet Senior Master Sergeant Eric Rios, First Lieutenant David Greenberg, Captain Frank Zambaras, New York Wing Staff Lieutenant Colonel Patrick McGee, New York Wing Staff Lieutenant Colonel Gerald Marquetos, New York Wing Staff Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Corello, New York Wing Staff Lieutenant Colonel Benjamin Nodar, and New York Wing Staff Colonel Stephen Perta. And whereas the Civil Air Patrol makes a huge impact each and every day, going above and beyond to make a profound difference in America's communities. And whereas this occasion presents a unique opportunity for this legislative body to recognize and pay tribute to the members of the Colonel Francis S. Gabreski Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard. Whereas it is sent to this legislative body that when organizations of such noble aims and accomplishments are brought to our attention, they should be recognized by all citizens of this great empire state. Now therefore be resolved that this legislative body pauses its deliberation to commend the Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard and its members upon the occasion of presenting the colors at the start of the session of the New York State Senate, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution suitably engrossed be transmitted to Colonel Jack Ozer of New York Wing Civil Air Patrol and the aforementioned members of the Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard.
Senator Lavelle.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to personally thank the Suffolk Cadet Squadron 10 group for coming to Albany and presenting the colors and starting our session off today. To come up from Long Island, it's a long trip during the winter with not the greatest of weather, but we want to thank you for your commitment to continue to protect our country and our communities. Those of us who live particularly on Long Island, where we're surrounded by water and there are all sorts of events that go on, you do a great job in saving lives and protecting our community. It also gives us an opportunity, members of the legislature, to learn about a program, Civil Air Patrol program, that many young people in other parts of the state, across the state, can participate in. And again, thank you for your year-long participation, and thank you for coming to Albany to present the colors to start our session.
Thank you, Senator Lavelle. Senator Flanagan.
President, I just want to join Senator Lavelle and add my voice of welcome to the Civil Air Patrol. And Ken is, of course, proud that they hail from his district, but I do have three constituents here today that I wouldn't mind singling out. First, Lieutenant David Greenberg, Cadet Senior Airman Joseph Toner, and Cadet Staff Sergeant James Megna, and just say thank you for the work that they do. Our communities thrive and survive and prosper because of good people like this. But Senator Lavelle, I'm going to say that to the Colonel, we can invite them back sometime in the late spring when it's a lot more pleasant weather, even though they'll come here under any circumstances. So thank you very much.
Senator Seward.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, want to stand to honor our Civil Air Patrol who's with us here today, and particularly the cadets who did such a wonderful job in presenting the colors today. You know, we mainly think of the Civil Air Patrol of providing tremendous service to the people of the state of New York, particularly in emergency situations, whether that be a forest fire protection, disaster relief service, communications, and of course aircraft emergency assistance. But in addition to all of these very important functions, the Civil Air Patrol conducts the cadet program, which is a wonderful program for young people, ages 12 through 18. Its aim is to develop essential life skills and instill values, including teamwork, personal integrity, leadership, respect, self-confidence. I mean, the list goes on in terms of wonderful attributes that our cadets learn about through this program. You know, we're very honored to have them here today to open our session, which they have done for a number of years. You know, I'm very sorry that one of my constituents, Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Little, who has been involved in government relations for the New York wing of the Civil Air Patrol for a number of years, he's unable to be with us today for health reasons, but he helped to start this tradition by bringing the cadets to the State Senate this first week of our session every year. And I know that he's very sorry to have to miss today's presentation of the colors. I know that he is very, very proud of the cadet program and this particular tradition, certainly. This is exactly what he envisioned, Lieutenant Colonel Andy Little, when he first came to me with the idea of having the Civil Air Patrol cadets present the colors on the floor of the Senate. So I join in offering my heartfelt congratulations to all of the achievements of our cadets program, and particularly want to say thank you to all those involved with the Civil Air Patrol in New York State for the tremendous service that you provide the people of our state. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Seward. Senator Lavelle?
I forgot to mention Senator Flanagan had mentioned two of his constituents, and I just wanted to mention Eric Rios and Patrick McGee, who are from the 1st Senatorial District. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Senator Lavelle. Senator Little.
Join my colleagues in gratitude for having the Civil Patrol cadets here, as well as their leaders. And in addition to all the things that they have mentioned that young people get through the Civil Patrol group, I believe they get an exposure to the military life and an understanding of the opportunities that could lay ahead for them in the military. My two sons joined the Navy based upon, I believe, a great deal from their experience in the junior Navy ROTC programs. And there aren't as many junior ROTC programs anymore. So thank you for what you're doing in Civil Patrol and helping our young people look at a future that would be beneficial to them, but certainly would be beneficial to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Little. Senator DeFrancisco.
Yes, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Central New York representative here, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Corello. I've been to some of their activities in Central New York, and all the things that Senator Seward said and Senator Little said about the good things that come out of the Civil Air Patrol, I can attest to that. They do a wonderful job in Central New York, and God knows, do we need some activities such as the Civil Air Patrol to point our youth in the correct direction. There's many things going the opposite way, and this is really a breath of fresh air for every community, and anytime young people can get involved in productive things, in constructive things, the better off we all are. So thank you, Tom, and thank all of you who are here.
Senator Ort.
Of my colleagues, and welcome my friends from the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard to the New York State Senate chambers. As a senator who represents the Niagara Falls Air Reserve Station, and as a veteran, I'd like to thank you for the services that you provide to our great state, including emergency services, education, leadership, and mentoring. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Ort. Is there any other senator that wishes to be heard on the resolution? All in favor of the resolution as presented signify by saying aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. We want to congratulate and welcome the Civil Air Patrol and officers are with us today. And let's give them a round of applause, and then we're going to retire the colors. I would ask all members to continue to remain standing as we retire the colors.
Retreat, go!
Thank you.